Hi, this is Pastor Bob. Welcome to Pastor Bob's International Report. You know, we're doing an international report from the United States this time. Usually I am in whatever country we're reporting on, but today we're coming to you from England. And I have my good friends Matt and Lee sitting here with me.
Hi.
And we wanted to talk just a little bit about the metal scene in England and exactly what's going on there. You know, we've done the Meltdown Festival, we've done Destruction Fest, some great festivals in England, but there's not quite enough going on yet.
No.
What do you think?
Not yet, no. Yeah, the UK scene's very small. The UK metal scene is quite big, but the Christian metal scene is very small, hardcore and all the different genres. There's not a whole lot of bands out there, and if there are bands, they're not very connected. So it's very difficult to build up a scene, build up a community when people are scattered about and they don't know where other Christian metal heads or hardcore people are, so it's really difficult.
Matt, do you think the community needs to start first?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's better because then if you're a musician and you're not connected, you can't form a band. So, I mean, Lee and I, we met through Facebook, and before that, Lee didn't know any kind of other Christian people.
And you guys have a Christian band together.
We're looking to start something.
It's in the works.
Yeah. So watch this space, right?
All right, these guys.
But yeah, so I think community's got to come first, and I think the church has got to come first. I think, and then you're able to build a scene with by meeting other people. That's the only way it's going to work.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
So, what do you think the Christian metal scene looks like? Obviously, it's scattered, but there are a significant number of people in England that enjoy Christian metal.
I'd definitely say so. There's a lot of kids that are into the kind of, they're into really kind of mainstream metal bands that go to church, but they may only be one or two in that church. So again, it's trying to build this community. But there's definitely a significant amount of people out there, and I think the metal scene, the secular metal scene, is huge in the UK, absolutely massive. And so there is a lot of kids to be reached, which could then build up this community anyway. So
absolutely,
everything just seems to be a little bit scattered at the moment. There's a lot of people like myself earlier this year that just didn't know what was going on. Didn't know that anything like Meltdown or anything existed, and so we just need to build that up from the ground up, create a firm foundation.
Raise awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do.
You know, I always feel like England's a little bit of a sleeping giant. And a plug for the band too.
Yeah.
But a little bit of a sleeping giant because, you know, on my podcast, the UK is number 3 in listenership.
Really?
Worldwide, out of 151 countries that watch now and watch my podcast, they're number 3, which means there's a significant amount of metalheads in England, but just not as connected. So, what do you feel like needs to happen in the future? How does that connection work? What exactly do you feel like needs to come together to make the metal community a little more cohesive?
I think we just need to step out into the scene, really. We need to step out into shows and be honest about who we are. Because, like, there can be many times that we go to shows and we just enjoy the bands and leave. But if we're not honest with people about who we are, then they may love Jesus as well, and they may have the same ideals as us, but we'll never connect just because we never stepped out.
Because people don't really communicate with each other.
Exactly. Communication is key in this whole thing. That people understand that there's communities that they can get involved in.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just a British thing. I don't know if it's an American thing, but people, I mean, we come over here and it's really easy for us to make conversation because we know people are going to like us because of our accents. You try and reach somebody, just speak to a stranger in Britain. It's weird. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that is the difference between the countries.
Yeah,
I agree.
We don't like talking to each other.
We talk to everybody.
Right, it's different.
Nobody's ever a stranger, and it is awkward there.
Yeah.
People wondering what you're up to if you start talking.
What's your agenda? What are you trying to sell? That's exactly our mentality. But
it's sad that that's true with the Christian community as well. Huh?
Absolutely. And you know, there's so many Christians that are under the radar and they don't speak up. And you can walk by somebody in the street and they could certainly be Christian and you just wouldn't know. I mean, it's like that everywhere. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's Yeah, and I think it's about, we need to be a little bit more vocal. We need to be more vocal about who we are, and just being willing to step out and just say, yo, I'm a Christian, you've come to this concert too. And it's not even, it's kind of easier if you go to a show where the band you know are Christian or have Christian influences. Like I've made friends at an August Burns Red concert because I'm wearing a t-shirt of another Christian band, and someone's like, oh, you like them too, I'm a Christian as well. That's one way of doing it. But I want to do that at all shows. I want to go to like non-Christian secular shows and wear like a For Today t-shirt or whatever, you know, and people will be able to connect.
And t-shirts can totally do that.
Oh my gosh, they're great. They're great.
Years ago when I started a t-shirt company, one of the names I wanted to use was Personal Billboards.
Yeah.
Because it's really just that, and I think it's a great way to meet some other people.
Yeah, it works, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think going to shows is certainly definitely one thing. I know that previously we've gone to like youth conferences, and we've set up a Meltdown like stand, and so we've been able to advertise Meltdown, and people are like, oh cool, I didn't know this existed. Of course you didn't know, it's because like there's not been the promotion or advertisement there before. So it's early days for the UK. Well, I say early days, it's been early days for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
But we're coming.
There you
We'll
go.
get there.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people speaking blessings over this, and even prophecy and stuff from other people. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I went to a big youth, I guess probably praise and worship event right outside of Birmingham a few years ago. And I imagine there were probably 3,000 or 4,000 people there. I mean, there's a community there. There's a lot of kids. They were into it. I mean, they were really into it. As I was walking in, I noticed all the metalheads that were kind of standing back, and they were gone with the youth group, but they weren't really into it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I thought, as soon as all this gets going, and I'm finished with what I need to do as being part of the event, I'm going to go outside and talk to those kids, because I know they're going to be outside. They're not going to stay.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and metalheads everywhere. And I had my iPod at the time, that was an older iPod, that I had a little speaker for also that I could plug into it. And I just sat there and showed them Christian music and showed them stuff that was going on.
That's it.
They were all amazed, and I had a pretty good number of kids there that were totally not into the other stuff. They just kind of were forced to go because the youth group went. But there are those people, like you said, everywhere, not just England, but everywhere, who really need an alternative or looking for something.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So there are two things that I'm aware of in England. One is Destruction Fest, and you haven't been part of that, you said.
Not personally, no.
It's a little more death metal, a little more on that edge. And I've been there a good number of times and spoken there. But the other one that I've probably been to at least 10 times is Meltdown, which is a really great place, really great. You have kind of been part of Meltdown for the last few years.
Excuse me. Yeah. My first Meltdown was 2012, which was crazy because I'd been looking for something for a while myself. I'd been looking to be part of some sort of Christian metal community or festival, to see what was going on. And it just so happened that the speaker for the guest speaker for Meltdown that year was Mike Reynolds of For Today, who were my favorite band, and so it was just like, what? So that was great.
Could you do that again?
What? That's like my hair metal. Well, yeah, you got it. So 2012 was my first Meltdown, and I've been involved ever since. And because of Meltdown, I've been able to connect with Tommy Green of Sleeping Giant, who we mentioned previously, and that's the reason why we're here this week, is because we've been hanging out with Tommy at a leadership conference with his church, which is called Revolution Reality, and we've started to plan Revolution Reality style Bible study groups and church service once a month here in the UK. So that's only that's been starting since like March this year. So
And
we've
that's
had a
really
few-
an opportunity for metalheads to kind of come out of the woodwork and
Yeah.
find some people who they feel comfortable with to connect with.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a way for us to reach out to non-Christian metal people as well, and
Yeah.
you know, and kind of try and flip their idea of what church is on its head. And when we go up to people in the street and we advertise the service that's going on that evening, we're like, "Hey, do you want to come to Metal Church?" And they're like, "Metal Church? What?"
Very
And
confused.
because their idea of church is still like Catholic, old building church. They'd have no idea really about the Pentecostal church or about,
Right.
like modern kind of church, and so they because that's all they've been taught growing up. And that's all they
Exactly.
see is these big churches. So you say metal church, and they're like, right? So
Sounds like a cult.
yeah, sounds yeah. So they're like, yeah, I'm all in, and then
Yeah.
they come and meet Jesus. I mean, we've had like a Satanist come,
yeah.
spiritualist people come, you know.
Had a bloke doing spells in the corner. It was weird.
Yeah, so it's been interesting.
You know, I did an evening with Steve Speakman.
Yeah, he was one of
and-
our last speakers as well.
Yeah.
yeah, great guy.
Great guy.
Hello,
And-
Steve.
And he does Sanctuary in Wales.
Yeah,
And yeah, just such a great guy. And we went to the local metal club, and he just made our time there a featured event where all the metalheads could come and just ask questions, and they did for a long time that night. And I was really amazed at how open and honest and how searching all of those people were. And of course, it wasn't a Christian venue.
No.
And they weren't Christian kids, but they were just really open, very honest, and just a lot of questions. And that is the scene in England.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It's just about, I think before you can build something, sometimes you have to deconstruct things, and I think we're on a mission now to deconstruct people's idea of
Yeah.
church and Christians, and
The preconceived ideas.
And on behalf of a lot of Christians who have hurt people, we're having to apologize. And I think it's it's good. It's
Yeah.
only right that we do apologize on behalf of people who have hurt other people. So we're just trying to. It's a really, I think it's a sensitive time,
Yeah.
but it's a really great time.
So you've got some good vision, some good hope, some great plans
Yeah.
for the future.
Yeah.
And ultimately, what would you like to see happen? What kind of move of God would you like to see happen in England in the future? How do you visualize it?
I think the most important thing is that I've learned something this week is. I
It's
think
okay. It was a Harley. It's okay.
Yeah.
All other noise is not allowed, but Harleys, they're okay.
I think for me, I've learned not to try and fix people. I wanted to fix people, and I've wanted to just be like, okay, you've got a problem, you're not a Christian, I want to fix your problem and show you Jesus. I think sometimes you've just got to just love them and not want to fix them.
Because we need fixing too.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And when we stop being upset about people who sin differently than we do,
Yes.
then we start to get it. don't we?
For sure, and it's just about just loving them,
Yes.
regardless of where they're at with God. If they're not even with God, just love them anyway,
Yes.
and build it, and they will come. And I think if you build love, people will come.
And there are the words, folks. If you build it, they will come.
Holding on to that.
Is that
comment.
original from you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll-
That's not from a
we'll just
film.
leave
I
it there.
don't know what you're talking about.
Well, folks, I hope you're excited about Matt and about Lee and some of the things that are happening in England these days, in what we call jolly old England. Do you still say that?
Yeah. For you, Bob, we still say it.
To make us feel better.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love these guys, and I'm excited for what is ahead of them in England. If they need to get a hold of you guys, if you're watching from England, which many of you are,
Yes.
how do they find you?
You can email me. I'll give you my email. It's matt@meltdownmusic.co.uk, I think. Yeah.
You can check out our Facebook page at Revolution Reality UK.
Yeah, Revolution Reality UK. Check out Rev Reality in Salt Lake City as well, if you're from America and you want to hook up there.
There you go.
That's it, right?
Well, folks, if you're in England, get involved.
Dude.
If you're not, pray for these guys. Some good times ahead. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.